Snow White, the big budget Disney remake with Rachel Zegler front and center, might not even reach $200 million worldwide, okay? Not 1 billion, not 500 million, okay? Not 200 million, okay? That's not just a flop, that's just a full blown nightmare for Rachel Zegler and Disney, okay? And I'm gonna be honest with you all, okay? You see, not even the harshest critics saw it tanking this bad, but when Disney gives the reins to someone like Rachel Zegler and then just lets Rachel Zegler run wild, disrespecting the source material and the audience, I mean, this is what you get. This is exactly what happens. You get what you deserve, okay? Now, Disney and Rachel Zegler set this movie up to fail from the very start. Now you can't rewrite the beloved classic, mock the original, insult the fans, and then just simply expect everyone to show up with smiles. Now it's arrogant, it's also tone deaf, and it's exactly the kind of Hollywood hubris, if you will, that we've come to expect from Disney. Now, Rachel Zegler didn't just, play Snow White and stuff, but Zegler turned herself into the symbol of everything that the fans can't stand about the whole Disney modern remakes. And right now, I mean, after watching this whole fiasco crash and burn, it's satisfying to many, but it's also at the same time sad to some of us, okay? Now, right now, Snow White starring Rachel Zegler has barely even passed about, I don't know, $150 million worldwide now. And that's with Rachel Zegler doing all her, media rounds and Disney simply pouring in hundreds of millions of stuff to get this thing out there. Last weekend, it pulled in a pathetic $9 million overseas with a nasty 58.3% drop. This thing simply has no legs. Disney's current projections say that it might crawl into somewhere between 195 million and 210 million dollars globally, okay? Which would be hilarious given the $250 million production budget and and if you add marketing and you're over $300 million, all that hype, all that PR, all that Rachel Zegler smugness, and this is where it landed, a total disaster. Now, this is the same kind of crash and burn that we've also witnessed with the Marvels, okay? And which is another Disney mess. Now, remember that one, the $26 million opening off of a $1 billion franchise. That's Disney's pattern now, okay? If you just go ahead and take successful properties, hand them off to insufferable leads, lather on the identity politics, and act surprised when the audience bails, okay? Now, I'm not saying that like Captain Marvel was a successful character in the comics and stuff, but I mean they did really heavily push her out there when they were doing these woke remakes even in the comics, okay. But with Snow White, I mean Rachel Zegler took it to another level, going on press tours, mocking the original Disney film and Walt's legacy, like she's above it all. Now, how out of touch can you really get? How out of touch can anyone get? But at the same time, you can look at the scores and see how bad it really is. Rotten Tomatoes, as you remember, has the audience score at 19%. 19. Critics are hovering over, 40% with the top critics at 29%. And even the verified audience score, which Disney usually leans on, was sitting at a shaky 73%. Now, if you go over the critic list and stuff, and it's sitting at 11%, and people were generous enough to give it a 10%, and that's just because they're not a full on hater. But seriously, this is what happens when Disney simply lets someone like Rachel Zegler become the face of the franchise and stuff that they clearly don't respect anymore. And even Forbes had it to acknowledge it, that Snow White starring Rachel Zegler just simply slid into fourth place over the weekend at the box office with the single digit earnings. Okay. Even comicbookmovie.com said that it might not even hit $100 million. Okay. Domestically. And the Daily Mail even dragged the Rachel Zegler live action remake and stuff, where they're simply comparing this particular flop to the success of a Minecraft movie, which exploded into a global opening of $301 million. Meanwhile, I mean, Disney's supposed live action gem starring Rachel Zegler is over here simply dying a slow death. I mean, it's not just embarrassing, it's historic, okay? And Disney hasn't even seen a crash like this with a princess film in decades. And with Rachel Zegler actually leading the way, they practically invited it, okay? And that's on them. If you go woke, you go broke. Wokeness is definitely a disease, and Disney has it bad. And instead of just timeless storytelling, they gave us lectures, preaching to us and all. Instead of charm and magic, they gave us cringe and attitude. And Rachel Zegler made it clear from the beginning that she had no interest in honoring what made Snow White special. And Disney, instead of just, reining that in immediately, they doubled down. And now look, the audience saw right through it. They saw the insane cope and everything coming from Hollywood, and they decided to go ahead and spend their money elsewhere. All right. And now look, I saw, a Minecraft movie and everything. And let's be real, it's not really a masterpiece, but I mean, at least people were excited for it. I mean, at my theater, had a lot of kids, loving it, cheering and everything. Parents, some of the parents were into it. I was just fidgeting, of course, and cringe. But you know what that tells me? It's not always about perfection. It's about respecting the audience. Okay. Disney used to understand that. Okay. But now, ever since Bob Iger came into the helm, they let Rachel Zegler down to fans. I mean, talk down to fans, rewrite history, and act like, she's doing them a favor by showing up. Now you can't sell that kind of arrogance and especially and expect it to fly, let alone with Rachel Zegler at the helm, okay? But I mean, I didn't really love Minecraft either, but I didn't hate it also. And there was some fun moments with Jack Black being Jack Black and Jason Momoa constantly screaming at the same time being one of the better characters. The whole thing was a bit of a mess with its structure. Constantly jumping between worlds and stuff. Well, and at the same time, people liked it. They enjoyed it. They gave them something. But Disney's Snow White, on the other hand, I mean, let's be honest, that gave people a big lecture from Rachel Zegler about how outdated the childhoods were. And that's when the parents who are the biggest customers rejected it. But the best part, even the media can't cover for this Rachel Zegler mess anymore. You see, these are the same people who told us that we were toxic, that Rachel Zegler was brave and empowered queen and everything, and that Disney's live action remake of this Rachel Zegler film was going to redefine fairy tales. And now they're admitting that they're basically admitting defeat over this Rachel Zegler film. You simply can't polish this turd, and even the usual defenders are throwing their hands up. And the more Disney tries to blame the audience instead of just taking responsibility, the more it actually explodes in their faces, okay? And that's just reaping what you sow right there. That's the very definition of you reap what you sow. But this always happens. The fans always raise the red flag, and the media starts gaslighting everyone. Then, when the movie bombs, suddenly it's, well, maybe the marketing wasn't great, or other excuses like audiences just didn't get it. Oh no, the audience has got it. I mean, we got it loud and clear. And Disney thought that, Rachel Zegler could carry the film by herself while alienating everyone else who cared about the original. And now they're paying for that arrogance, okay? Now the fans are all almost always right. And it's not because, we're geniuses and stuff, but because we actually care, okay? And I'm not even a Minecraft player. I mean, to lean on, I don't even want stuff like Mario Kart, Mortal Kombat, and stuff, and other stuff from classic Nintendo. But I mean, I'll give Minecraft credit where credit is due. It gave people what they wanted. It did. Disney didn't. Rachel Zegler didn't. Rachel Zegler gave them the opposite, and Rachel Zegler took something that meant a lot to people and turned it into basically a smug parody. Okay, that right there is not progress. That's simply disrespect wrapped in a Disney Plus filter, or should I say a Disney woke Disney filter. And that's the real tragedy there. You see, Disney didn't, just make a bad movie. They made a political statement and not a good one. They made it clear that the legacy doesn't matter anymore, that fans don't matter, that the Disney name isn't about wonder or storytelling, but it's actually about woke agenda. And they put Rachel Zegler right at the center of that particular message. And right now, Disney is simply just watching the consequences and facing the consequences in real time. I mean, we just have to make stories fun again. Respect the people who keep the brand alive, which are your fans and your customers. Because when you shove someone like Rachel Zegler into the spotlight and let her crash or trash what came before, you simply end up with Snow White starring Rachel Zegler, another cautionary tale, box office meltdown and flop, and a giant L for Disney. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for notifications, and I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace.